Hello, 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 friends. My goodness, I think I'm live on YouTube. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to refresh my laptop here just to see if this is working. I think got a nice, I think it is working here. I've got a nice little plan for us today. Okay, cool. I think we're good. I'm not quite sure. I think we're good. All right, so hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Please, if you're here live, feel free to say hi and leave a note in the comments about where you are right now, where you're practicing from, where you're watching from, and maybe how you're feeling as well. So that's a nice way to feel better together, essentially. And it's been my idea and feeling for myself and contribution for myself and anybody interested in coming along for the ride since the beginning of quarantine here in New York. Remember the very first day, one of my thoughts was, okay, for myself, I need to make sure I'm still practicing yoga every day. Hello from south of Italy, amazing. I need to make sure I'm practicing yoga every day so I can take care of myself and take care of my family and, you know, see if I can help out in any way in our community. And one way that I know how to serve is to share yoga with other people. So I started a really silly, simple Instagram live yoga class every day, and we just kept it going. It was every single day, every day, every day, every day. And we just kept going, and it was very lovely and beautiful. Hello, hello, this is working, awesome. Hello from California, cool, you feel good, thanks, awesome. And we kept going for 100 days, and then I felt separation anxiety, to be honest, for myself. So we did 101 days, and so now we do every Sunday on Instagram Live, and that's a nice way to stay connected. And we even raised some money for GuardP, which is a really beautiful organization that helps to treat drug-resistant diseases, and they're doing very smart things. So I'm learning more about them, and we were able to make some fun t-shirts, collaborate with my friend Kaiser, and we nicknamed our group Resident Yogis and the Feel Good Gang. So I got that resident yogi part from a New York Times article on American ballet theater dancers. They said, I'm no longer quarantining, I'm now an artist in residence. And I thought, oh, that's so cool. I'm going to swipe that for yogi in residence. So, and of course we practice in a way to help ourselves feel better. So I think one of the group members said, hey, we're the Feel Good Gang. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Reminds me of Cool in the Gang kind of a thing. So welcome, welcome. I thought we could today have a little bit of a chat. I thought maybe keep this Monday series going for a few days, a few weeks. So just finished a nice, beautiful live on Strala Home, and a little info about that. If you're not on board already for Strala Home, it's something we've been working on for many years, but honestly hadn't had time to sit down and prioritize this project with the developers and everybody that needs to go into making something like this, because we travel a lot for trainings, Strala trainings and workshops and events and book signings and all kinds of fun, beautiful ways to connect and hug people, and we don't have that right now. So we were able to work on the app. So it's live in the App Store and in all the places. We're finally caught up to the present moment. I would say future, but it's really the present moment. We're finally in the now with that. We always we do a lot, and we do a lot in a way that's really fun, and I always love to follow my intuition and move toward the places and move toward the people that want to do things together. And often that leads me to not doing things in a business way, I guess. And it doesn't really matter. For me, I want to practice yoga with people. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. It always works out. I've never, maybe I'm just from the Midwest, and my parents are like, just keep it simple, everything's easy. You know, I don't get too flashy in my life, but I really do believe in living from our deepest, most core place when it comes to what we offer the world. And for me, I've had jobs. I've worked at Pizza Hut in high school, and I always assisted my dance studio, and I think I've been filing taxes since I was 9 or something. My dad was like, really, we're gonna do this? Like, yes, I wanna work. I love working. I love to be of service in this way. So hello, hello, hello. Mike's coming through with the oatmeal from Daisy. But as far as, when we really got to start sharing yoga with people, sort of started out as a passion, still is a passion, but a hobby that turned into something that has taken over life. So here we are. And so yeah, if you haven't joined up on Strala Home, it's beautiful. A member of our Strala community, Jessica Locke, who lives in Toronto, she's awesome. And she kind of surprised me at one of our trainings. Actually, we met in Toronto at a cafe, at a beautiful cafe. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's a healthy vegetarian cafe. And I was up there with Mike, and we were doing an intensive in a hotel ballroom we had rented out, and she had come for that. And before that, I had met her in this cafe, and she came over and said hi. And I thought, oh, wow, this girl's so nice, and she's coming to yoga tomorrow. How cool. And she came to a longer training, a 200-hour training we did in Amsterdam. And I had no idea she was also a beautiful photographer, and a very sneaky photographer in a very cool way. She had a silent shutter, and in the sessions and before and after, she would kind of take pictures of a lot of people in the community hanging around and softening and just being ourselves. And that was really the first time that I saw how beautiful our community is, and not just, oh, you know, typical marks of beauty with cosmetic faces and things like this, although everybody is beautiful. And I firmly believe if you take care of yourself, you are so beautiful and so radiant, and we can work to undo, you know, so much damage that anything else has caused us, from taking away from our confidence and our what we see as beautiful in the world. So I love that if somebody takes really good care of themselves, if they feel good in their bodies, if they're kind to others, then my goodness, that person is beautiful, and we all know it and we all feel that. So that was really the first time, because of Jessica Locke, that I saw how beautiful our community is and how diverse our community is, not just in how we look and our backgrounds, but different body types, different ages, different ways of expressing ourselves, you know, all the colors of the rainbow. So Jess has, you know, we've kind of worked together a little bit. She's come to a few events and taken some photos, and it's always been so non-invasive in a way and non-commercial in a way. It's been so lovely to see. And another beautiful woman, Kirtana, who's from India, who I met for the first time in London. She came for a training. She did the same thing, and her eye is so different from Jess's and so beautiful as well. She has a more kind of, I would say, a little bit more moody of a feel, and Jess's feels very light and beautiful. And, you know, with those two together, it's been such a beautiful process for me not to feel like I need to show in pictures in some sort of a overly commercial way that doesn't make me feel comfortable, our community. So when we kind of reach out and say, hey, come to our trainings if you feel inspired, we don't really like to do that so much. We don't do advertising and all these tricks that, you know, people do. We just either don't have time or aren't interested. Maybe that's a little bit silly, but also we just stay busy connecting, and fortunately have enough connection to keep doing that. And for me, that's success. For me, that's how I want to live my life. And fortunately, I've just been able to keep continuing. So on the app, you'll see the photos of Strala are mainly Jess's photos of how the app looks and beautiful things. And just so grateful to have her eye to help guide us in the design, because I can see it in my head. But ultimately, we're wanting to share with people this ease, share with people this softness. And yoga is so big and so vast now. I mean, if you guys know me from a long time ago, you know, nobody cared about yoga in America 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It was still strange and still odd. So I had a lot of different kind of work cut out for me. It was more, hey, yoga's cool, give it a try. Hey, yoga, you can do it when you're hungover. You can do it, you know, if your back hurts, you can do it, here you go. And sort of this more, I played this kind of Punky Brewster role, but that was really how I felt personally, you know, 10, 20 years ago. I was definitely Punky Brewster in New York City. Actually, I had one, it was supposed to be an insult. This was a long time ago. There was a casting for a show, and I was doing some modeling and TV commercials. And this was at the beginning of reality shows, and I didn't really understand what I was going to, but my agency at the time called me and they said, oh, you've been requested for this thing because you dance and you do yoga and they want to see. So I went in and I had no idea I was going to be humiliated. It was so horrifying, really. I walked in and there was a panel of judges, and this was before there was like any of these kind of shows, you know, at all. So I just walked in, and usually for a casting or an audition for a TV commercial, you're not being filmed by how you walk in. It's not really about you. It's about how, if you can hold up that product, or, you know, I was the PT Cruiser girl for a while, if you can say the lines right and your energy is cool and they like your feeling and how you look and the certain angles and what your hair looks like and all these kind of really specific things. So this was new, to walk in and have a big kind of TV camera in my face in a way meant to humiliate me. So one of the women's on the judges said it was like America's Next Top Ninja or something, or I don't even know what it was. It wasn't even that, it was something else. But she said, "What can you do?" And I'm like, "What? What do you mean, what can I do? I do yoga, you know, I love yoga. It's great, like you should give it a try." So I tried to invite them up to do it with me, and that wasn't happening anywhere. They were behind their little desk and the cameras run. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm already humiliated." So she said, "Well, show me what you can do." And I'm like, "Okay." So I just like did a dancer pose, and I'm like, "See, it feels good and you can do it, give it a try." And you know, at that time in my life, I had really short, kind of punky red hair. That was my look for a while. I loved to kind of run around New York and, you know, meet people and read books in cafes and, you know, ride my skateboard. That was my, you know, before Mike, before Daisy, that was my early New York, you know, 21, 22, 23 self. And she said, "You know what? You look like Punky Brewster's little sister." And I was like, "Hey, thanks. That's nice." And I think the idea was that wasn't supposed to be a compliment, but I thought, "Hey, that's cool." And then she said, "You can go." And I'm like, "That's it?" But anyway, I digress. I have so many stories about New York. If you want to keep hearing them, I can keep doing that. That's hilarious. Yes, so I'm just reading some of your guys' comments. Very, very cool. So thanks for being here. But, you know, I love that we can share this practice. And, you know, for me and for Mike and for our now Strala community, our partner studios, we found very lovely, sustainable ways to all keep working together. And that's not by accident. I mean, it was, you know, several years ago when kind of all of this, you know, Soul Cycle became popular, and there was a lot of interest in taking Strala to the next level, you know, and it was very flattering. So it just kind of came out of nowhere all at once, really fast for me. There were 2 investment firms that literally emailed me and approached me, and I came into their office and there was like Strala on the wall, and there was a book, and there was a business plan. And I thought, okay, this would be nice to have some support, to have some people helping in a larger way, not in this kind of family way that Mike and I are doing things and working with the people that we know, and we really love that. It feels really nice for us. But in this more flashy way, but you know, there was so much language around that, like we're gonna crush the competition and we're gonna just dominate and we're gonna go in and get the ease and all of these things. And I thought, okay, this is flattering, and I'm so, you know, honored that in a way, but not really. So I said, okay, you know, thank you. Let me take some time to think about it. And the more I went back to the studio and back to the community and started thinking, we can do this on our own. And once you kind of give the keys over to somebody else, in a way, you're tied to that. You're tied to that mission. And that mission could very easily, and we've seen this so much, just if you look around in the world and different businesses, from fitness to yoga to restaurants to anything, you know, some businesses need a lot of support to grow. You know, and then it depends. There's a lot that just comes along with, you know, everybody else is doing it, so I should do it too, jump off the bridge, or is this really what we want to do? So, you know, Mike and I kind of slowed down a little bit. We looked around, we said, we can do this on our own. And it's flattering that we could go back to that at any point if we want to. The offer is there, but it's much more beautiful for us to keep this integrity, to stay true to our vision, to not have outside influence need to tell us where we want to go, because they need to match their bottom line. They need to pay back their investors and all of these kinds of things that can really change your life. And, you know, the first fear that I had was, oh my gosh, this is what's going to happen. All of a sudden there's going to be a Strala corporate office, and I'm going to be working there every day, going to the office, and eventually I will be fired because I'm very opinionated and I really want to do things in the way that I find the most true, that I find the most valuable. And I'm going to be flipping out all the time. My stress levels are going to be up all the time. Even when things are good, my stress levels are going to be up all the time. So anyway, that's a bit of a following our intuition on our ideas and our career path in a way. For me, business is personal. There's no pretending. There's no BS. This is real life. Somebody I've really looked up to a lot is Amanda Palmer. I don't know if you guys know her, but she was in the band Ben Folds 5, and she's kind of a really interesting person if you're also interested in. She does something very different. She's a musician, but she's a very thoughtful person. She does things in her own way. She does things with a lot of integrity. She's stuck in New Zealand right now. Poor woman, poor family. Not really. They're very fortunate to be stuck in New Zealand during quarantine because New Zealand has no cases. And she's very grateful about this. I don't know her personally. I've never met her, but I love what she does, and I love what she stands for, and I love how she orchestrates her art in a way. So anyway, just a little chat on that. I wanted to do a nice breath-body connection practice. I made a little reel on Instagram. I gave myself a chance to do that about this idea that everything is everything. You know, Lauryn Hill said it best, and it's to the Lauryn Hill song, "Everything is everything." How you move is how you are. And it doesn't mean that, oh, I have to be mad about myself that I'm not moving well, and does that mean I'm like this? But it's always a practice. So how you stand up, how you sit down, how you sweep the floor, how you practice your yoga, how you talk to yourself, how you think to yourself, how you communicate with others, your mission, your idea, all of these things. Everything is everything. So how beautiful is that? And if you can plug in your interest to this everything is everything formula, then everything else becomes interesting as well. You're able to connect with more people on more topics and find more friends, find more co-conspirators, more collaborators, all of these beautiful things. So a little story. So I thought with these Monday sessions, we can keep them going for a little bit, do a little bit of chat, a little bit of kind of vlog style hangout. That way I don't have to edit anything because, I mean, I have a 3-year-old now and there's no time. She's going nuts right now with Daisy, with Mike and Daisy are back in our bedroom, you know, playing. We have this puzzle. Every day we put it together, every day we take it apart. It's the whole world. It's meant for a 6-year-old, but you know, we like to challenge people around here. We're very into learning. We're very into improving. And my friend Bianca in LA is having a baby, and she was painting her baby's room in like a teal color, and she was all into her gender neutral nursery. And she posted a picture, and of course, some of her friends that I even know too said, oh, this isn't gender neutral, this is blue. And she said, well, why does blue have to be for a boy? And this is for anybody, and I like teal, and by the way, it's teal. So I thought, interesting, what have we done with Daisy? And she does have some pink clothing. I think she has some pink items of clothing just by, you know, default, gifts, things like that. But her room it's all about animals. It's all about her bed. It's all about her dresser. She has this beautiful thingy we found that hangs from the ceiling. It looks like a world. I mean, I always love science. I'm trying to learn more about science, and there's a book I want to show you guys in a moment here. I love the stars. I love the world. I love, you know, geography. So she has a big map of the world. That's actually a quilt that my grandmother made, her great grandmother made. In the puzzle book, there's a big poster of all the animals in the animal kingdom. So we have that. All her books are kind of around the windowsill and everything. She has this nice kind of gray squishy rug. So I guess it's gender neutral by default, but you know, aren't we all? We all are made of stardust. So I think that's so beautiful and wonderful. So let's have a little bit of, if you guys are interested, I want to show you a couple books that I've had for a while. Some I've read before, some I'm rereading. I'm a big fan of rereading just because who has time to go to the bookstore? That's a bad thing to say. We need to go to the bookstores as soon as we're able to do that again. You can order online, all of that. But I just like to look around sometimes and reread something I'm reading. It gives me a new idea to check out a new author that maybe they're friends with, or somebody that wrote the foreword for their book or endorsed it, something like that. So I'm in a little bit of a rereading phase right now, and I wanted to share with you what I'm rereading. And my next phase, after this is done in a week or so, I'll probably either order some new books or find out how to get books as easy as possible, and to support all the right people as possible right now, because that's important. We're all trying to do better. So this first book, okay, actually, let me move over here. Okay, sorry, I'll be right back. Show you guys this book. Oh, I forgot to get this one from the shelf over here. Okay, so there's a couple books that kind of go together, and for me this was really interesting and fun. So a few years ago, we were at Business of Fashion. We got invited to Business of Fashion, Mike and I, conference outside of London. And we went, and it was beautiful. And I heard an amazing speaker there that completely blew me away, just by his presence, by his spirit, by his soul, and of course by his content, what he was saying. But what he was saying for me took such, it was right there and so powerful, but how he was, and I was fortunate to be seated at a table with him at dinner, and just watching him sit and watching him move around, and the presence that he had. Oh my God, I've never seen anything like it in my life, and I'm a fan for life of this individual, and I've kind of stalked him a little bit on Instagram, and I always share this book that he's written, his first book, and I have a feeling there's a lot more coming from this individual. So his name's Casey Gerald. It's called There Will Be No Miracles Here. I'll write this in the comments as well. So Casey Gerald, I took the cover off because I do that. I've had this for a couple of years now. There Will Be No Miracles Here. So I bought this for a few people just because, you know, when you love a book so much, you want to give it. So it's a memoir, but it's also so beautiful. The way he writes is, every line is poetry. How does somebody do that? That's insane. So just Google Casey Gerald. You can see him on lots of talk shows. I think there's a really cool interview with him with Don Lemon, and that's really beautiful how Don is so in awe of his writing as well. I've never met Don Lemon yet, but I'd like to someday. So, and then randomly, I wouldn't have got this book because, I don't know, but a friend of mine dropped it off at our apartment about a year ago, and I read it, and it's a similar kind of feeling. It's like a yin and a yang to There Will Be No Miracles Here. It's a J.D. Vance hillbilly elegy. It's about his personal story, but really upward mobility in the sort of white American lower class to middle class. A lot of similarities there. So that's kind of an interesting memoir. I think that might be being made into a movie as well. This woman, Jamie Atterberg, all grown up, my goodness. Okay, so I found out about her on Twitter. She's awesome. This book, honestly, is incredible. It reads like kind of a alternate universe to Eat, Pray, Love, I would say. It's kind of a more sarcastic, more kind of New York, New York, New York, Eat, Pray, Love. So this is very, very cool. And part of this book, she was living, I think, not too far away from where we are right now in Brooklyn. And the things that she's describing, I'm like, I know what you're describing. So Jamie Atterberg, and she's actually popped into a few of my Instagram classes, which has made me quite nervous because I'm such a fan. So she has several books out, so I'm going to, I think her memoir is coming out next, and I'm going to get one of her other books next to read. So that's a good one. Okay, next one, very, very cool. This is a science book. This is easy. It's super little. It's called Astrophysics for Busy People. It is complicated, especially if you're like me and you didn't take astrophysics in high school. I was in the computer lab being a nerd. But it's very cool, very awesome. So Astrophysics for Busy People. You can learn all about dark matter, dark energy, protons, neutrons, all kinds of cool stuff. This is a good one. Okay, so very, very cool. I'm just going to check the comments, and then I want to give you guys a nice, easygoing practice here. So I think the title of this video is Breath-Body Connection. And we can learn so much from the connection to ourselves. We can learn so much from moving with ease, moving in harmony, not pushing, not forcing, and really letting ourselves live in that zone and experience that zone of pure potential in a way. So looking at any other books I want to okay, here's another one just hanging around. This is a really strange one, but it's beautiful. It's a little sciencey, and you know, honestly, I'm not an astrophysics physicist, but I love reading about this stuff. Deepak got me into it from his conferences, but I bought this at one of his conferences. I think Roger Penrose might have been speaking there, or the book was in the store. So Cycles of Time. Things are non-linear. Yes. It's very cool too, especially if it's nice just to learn what happens in science so you don't fall into areas of BS so much, and you can come up with your own sort of experience relating to the material. I think is very cool. So I love going to Deepak's conferences when he's had them, even now virtually, and hearing a scientist talk about space-time and wormholes and quantum physics, and I get something of it. I get something out of it. Doesn't mean that I can now write a paper on quantum physics necessarily. That would take a lot more books to read and a lot more lectures to attend, but I can feel a connection to myself. So in a unique way or in a more inspired way. So maybe that's interesting. You're a physicist. Amazing. Okay, very, very cool. So you might like that book, or you may have already read that book. So very, very cool. But anyway, I love all that stuff because it reminds me of how we can tap into this stuff inside, and how silly we're being when we're moving against nature, and how silly we're being when we're acting out of alignment with ourselves, and how wild it is to live a life unconnected when we can connect. We have all the tools right here, all the practices right here. How easy it is to get distracted, how easy it is to get caught up in competitiveness and jealousy and who has what and she has this and who said this about me and whatever, and drama. That's such a distraction to our nature and how we are. And Chris Hadfield's book, he's an astronaut. He wrote a beautiful book. Oh my goodness, I'll leave it in the comments, but that's another great one too. It's really a book about being prepared, a book about not just science and rocket science, but about doing what you can do in life and having a perspective that why we're doing the things that we're doing. You know, if you ever get a chance, even online, to listen to anybody that's been to space and turned around and seen the beautiful picture that we've all seen looking back on Earth, they have a different perspective than they did before they saw that image, before they took that in. So that real awareness of who we are, where we are, and how we're being is something that we can tap into on a deeper level, instead of getting caught up in the rigidity and the stress and the force and the struggle and the competitiveness and all these things. We can remember that, in fact, the artists, the poets, the scientists are all on the right track. We all are one. We all are connected, and we can move in harmony together. So let's practice, because that's what it is. Okay, so I'm just going to take you guys through a really simple, brief practice with the focus on breath-body connection. So often in yoga, things get very pose-based, things get very endpoint-based, and one of the reasons I wanted to share with you guys those books were to remind us all that there is no endpoint, there is no pose. The pose is a waypoint or a moment on the way to the next place. So when we slow down enough that our breath starts to move us, we can really enjoy that breath-body connection. We can notice the big world that we actually are, like a sphere. Every inhale takes us out in all directions. Every exhale brings us a little bit in. Like that thing, you guys remember Spencer stores? That thing that would kind of come out in all pieces, like, whoa, that's neat. A little metal thing, whatever it was, something they probably don't have anymore. I think they make a plastic one now, it comes back in. That kind of feeling. Big inhale, lifting. Easy, softening. All right, let's flow. Big inhale, reach up. Your palms together. Plug in. Really connect your thumbs to your heartbeat. Take a big inhale. Long exhale. Relax. Lean to the side here. Slide your legs around behind you there gently. Roll around here from your center. A little move of your belly and the rest of you connected to yourself. Letting yourself move along with your breath. Tuck your toes. Lift up and back. Down dog, a little bend in your knees. Gentle move from your belly there, side to side. Settling in. Crawl back out toward your plank pose. Nice wave. A little roll side to side. Easy forward and back. Side plank on your right side. Lift up, roll and stretch open. All the way back toward your middle. Lift, roll and stretch. All the way back here toward your middle. Drop your knees down. Sink your hips. Roll around. Maybe high or a little bit lower. Start to find the movements that really flow continuously. And this is a movement where you can explore a bit more. So those two kinds of movements there. Really beautiful in contrast to each other. Lift up and back. Down dog. Lean left, big, and now pull your right leg up and back. Roll everything open. Low lunge, lean left, slide your foot on through. Scoot your feet a bit apart. Roll up high. Easy. Sink low, moving continuously with your breath. Lift. Easy. Sink. One more lift. Spin your back heel down, toes come in, arms relax out, just like a bird here, right in your center. Big inhale, lift. Let your breath move you, exhale, relax. Tip back, reverse. Wave up and over, rest your forearm. This is nice continuous movement. Roll open. Low lunge, turn your hips down toward the ground, left hand catches you, then your right one, lift up, crawl your hands back. Drop over your legs. Bend in your knees, lean back, crawl yourself forward, back leg floats up. Round up towards standing, bend and roll on up, give your shin a squeeze. And find a nice tree. A few breaths here, easy. Big world expanding. Easy, relax. If this is not so easy for you, you can have your toes down. That's great too. Big inhale. Long exhale. Big inhale, squeeze. Dive up and over, plant your palms on the ground, roll a bit forward. Easy, come back, relax. Big inhale forward. All this is just like everything else. Rock back, relax. If you're in the mood, if this is easy, big inhale forward starts to bring you, not to a pose, but to a direction there. That's all that is. Big inhale forward. If you get stuck, don't panic. Just soften your knees. Notice what happens there. But all this is, don't bring that foot up off the ground if this troubles you. Big inhale forward. That's all it is. Eventually, more things will happen in that direction if you're moving with your breath. Let's go for that other side. Lean right. Big inhale. Pull that left leg up and back open. Low lunge. Lean left. Slide that foot on through. Scoot your feet a bit apart. Lift up high. Easy. Sink low. Nice and continuous here. Big inhale. Lift. Easy. Relax. Big inhale, lift. Warrior two, back heel spins down. Turn your toes in a bit there. Arms relax out, just like a bird, right in the center. Big inhale pulls you up. Easy. Back out. Tip back, reverse. Take that front leg with you. Go where you're going. Up and over. Forearm rest. Roll your belly open. Low lunge, turn your hips down toward the ground. That right hand catches you. Then your left one lift up. Crawl your hands back easy. Bend in your knees. Lean back. Crawl yourself forward. Everything comes forward. Roll up towards standing. Bend through your knees. Roll up. Give the shin a squeeze. And find that tree. Maybe your foot's high on your thigh. And if that's not easy, don't struggle. Just bring your toes down. There's a nice puzzle piece there for your foot to fit right in. A few breaths. Big inhale. Long exhale. Let yourself improvise here with your arms and your breath. Inhale. Long exhale. Big inhale, squeeze. Dive up and over, plant your palms a ways in front of your front foot. Give yourself space there to rock forward. Easy. Come all the way back. I'll show you without coming up off the ground. All this is forward. Bring yourself forward. Easy. Back. You can do that. Big inhale forward. That's a moment on that continuum there for my physicist friends and everybody else that can feel this big inhale forward. No need to jump or force, just breathe forward. Maybe you rock forward a bit there. Maybe that becomes easy. Maybe something that you thought was challenging can be a little bit easier there. And back. Big inhale forward, that's all that is. Easy, all the way back toward your down dog here. Let that go. Crawl back out toward your plank pose. Nice long wave. Walk your hands forward, your feet back. Make sure you're not leaning forward over your wrist there. That's not so great for your wrists. A little bend in your knees. Pull around. Drop your knees down. A little bit of exploring here. Maybe high or a little bit lower if that's better for you. Keeping your knees on the ground. Shift up and back. Come back down to sit, maybe on your heels or on your hips another way. Simply notice you. Remembering that you are pure potential. It's nothing magical or mystical. It's simply you. That's your nature. Big inhale, reach up. Your palms together. Plug in. Connect your thumbs to your heartbeat or hands to your belly. See if you can feel your heart pumping. Big inhale. Long exhale. Let that go. And notice how you feel. You ready? Gently open your eyes. Welcome back. Namaste. So let yourself kind of stay in the zone. Keep your practice going as you move. As you take care of yourself, as you walk around here. Thanks for playing around with me a little bit today. If you guys enjoy this, I'm happy to keep this going. Maybe we can do a little Monday series, a few Mondays in a row, and then we'll do something else. So thanks for being here. Make sure to take good care of yourself. Remember that you are pure potential, especially when you feel frazzled and all the things that happens to us all the time. So soften, breathe. Make sure you're movable so your breath can move you. When we're rigid and stuck and tense, we're immovable. It's impossible. Pure potential gets squished. We're fighting against ourselves to simply exist. So softening is the key here. So maybe my physicist friend can answer one of my burning questions about science. Before the Big Bang, is it possible that there was an even bigger softening? Is it possible? I'm going to leave that here. That's my my question. And even if it's not the way of the universe, it's necessary for us to soften for anything to be possible in order for us to create space, in order for us to Breathe fully, breathe deeply, heal. Softness is the baseline. That's the ingredient, the main ingredient to making all things possible. Maybe even before the ingredients. Maybe that's the kitchen. Maybe that's the house. Maybe that's the dwelling. Maybe that's the space before we even start to add things. So softness is the thing. All right. So hopefully you carry that softness in your day. And thanks for being here. This is really fun. I'm going to go see what Daisy and Mike are up to. Probably go for a bike ride today. So see you next Monday here on YouTube. See you at stralahome.com or the Strala Yoga app. And you can always please leave comments here, questions, concerns. Love chatting with you guys. Love hearing from you guys. A lot of you guys have known for over a decade now. A lot of you are brand new here, so that's really great. So have a wonderful day, and see you on Strala Home. See you on the app. See you here. See you in our minds. And we'll take care of ourselves so we can take care of each other. Okay, see you soon.